2025, People Board of Education meeting. My name is Bill Hopkins and I will be consolidating. I am calling this meeting to order at 6:00 p.m. The next item on our agenda is the approval of the agenda as presented.
Sarah Savage, I move to approve the agenda as presented.
Mark, for a second.
All right, with motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that motion carries. The next item on our agenda is the pledge of allegiance and we can silent. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you for being there. All right, so next item on our agenda is approval of minutes, and I would need a motion to approve the minutes from 7/1/2025.
I'll make a motion to approve minutes last month.
Second.
But we have to,
So you have to say the date.
Oh, okay, yeah, dated. Is that on there?
7/1.
Yeah.
Second.
All right, so we have a second, all in favor? Opposed? And that motion carries.
Yes.
And then I need a motion to approve our board meeting minutes from 7/4/2025.
I was there.
It's okay, then we go.
I'm excited to approve the minutes of the 7/24/2025 board retreat.
Second. All right, all in favor, say aye. Opposed? And that motion carried. Yeah, I had checked with Pam like months ago, as long as we were in the sales minutes, we can approve them. The next item on our agenda, is committee appointments. I don't know if you want to wait till Jeff gets here, we can skip and come back to it, or we're just gonna go ahead and do it.
It doesn't matter.
We have anybody,
You feel like?
we have anybody, we do.
Well, I know that, Sharon was looking into,
Well, so every district that belongs to the state board is entitled to a representative. So whether a representative actually goes to a meeting, that's at that discretion of the individual and the board. But we are entitled to have a representative. And I think it would be in our best interest to assign someone in case we wanted somebody in attendance at a meeting.
okay. So the first one is the DSBA Board of Directors, and do we know the schedule for that one? I think it's usually on Wednesdays at 6 p.m., but I don't know.
I could tell you when the first one is, and we could probably extrapolate from there.
Usually it's at Ronald's, at least that's where it's been at. One day they have to usually a nice dinner, sometimes they have a presentation from someone that is named. People from the different areas.
Well, I'm not pulling it up quickly, but I can certainly forward that. Yeah.
No, all right, so we'll need a person for the DSBA Board of Directors and for the DSBA Legislative Committee. And then the Legislative Committee is not one that meets every month, so we just need someone for them, so who would be interested? And it isn't Dover, both of them are in Dover, actually.
Yeah, I have October 1st for a DSBA Legislative Committee, November 5th for Board of Directors, January 7th, Board of Directors, February 4th, DSBA Legislative Committee, March 4th, Board of Directors, April Legislative, May Board. Looks like they're going back.
Oh, that's okay.
No one else wants to do it, I can continue.
And I can continue as the alternate. No one else wants
Do you want to try it out?
Yeah, I'm thinking, I might try, I'll try.
Do you, I would say, just go to a meeting that marks to that, so you can see
Alright,
what it's about. They're gonna be, you're gonna actually pick what you want. And then, sometimes, like I said, they have a presenter there, if they're, if one of the districts is working on something, and then,
You learn a lot.
Yeah.
You do.
Do they provide an agenda ahead of time?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, and if the agenda seems particularly relevant, then maybe that's the one you.
Okay. All right.
All right, so we'll put Martin Glenn and there,
You said the female, man.
Mr. Rice is gonna give it a go, he's gonna
Yeah.
try it out and see what it's like.
Thank you. All three.
Much appreciated.
Thank you.
Thank you. I would say prior to the board of directors, unless you were like a political. And then to all those house bills and else, okay. All right, not even. All right, next item, public participation, and I got word that, the person is not coming, has changed their mind. The next item, our journal reports and presentations, with the first being superintendent.
Well, welcome to the 25-26 school year. Yay. We greeted our new teachers last week on Wednesday and Thursday. We had folks back, today, it's Monday, wow. For some more additional curriculum work. And then everybody comes on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday of this week. And our students start next Wednesday. So we are excited, we're ready to go. I am ready for principals to be working with their staff and kiddos. Because they've run us ragged this summer, but it's, lots of ups and downs, as you guys know, with the legislative action, with all of the things at the federal level. We had some worrisome days and weeks where we were really, just hoping that it was all gonna work out, and it did, so.
Yeah.
For now, so we're keeping an eye, we'll continue to keep an eye on what's happening legislatively, both at the federal and state level. Especially with those federal appropriations, when it comes to title funds, that'll be a big thing to watch.
Well,
But we appreciate your support, and hopefully you'll be able to join us on Friday for the kickoff. Breakfast starts at 8. And the presentations start at 9.
Friday.
I'm looking at Ken.
Yeah, and the great thing is, and I missed it, the Patches they had it all figured out. Oh, yeah. Like they all work to figure out, okay, this is the plan, this is plan A.
I think we all sighed. It was a huge sigh of relief when that email came through.
Yes, it was.
About the title money, because it was a little touch and go there. Would have been a rough year trying to figure out how to make that work. But we're gonna, like I said, we're going to plan forward as if that money is not available next year. So that we are prepared when the time comes.
Yeah. Yeah, like that. And then, John. All right, 6:08. You were right when Joe.
I think that.
You know.
No, I'm good, thank you.
Next is board communications. Does anyone have anything? Well, as Dr. B said, welcome to the 2025-26 school year. I know that y'all have been working all summer long, trying to get ready for this new year, and we do appreciate you guys. I still get phone calls. We'll figure that out.
And I knew you were interested, you did that on purpose.
So, make sure you guys are filling out your stuff for Infinite Canvas. Make sure that you create the parent portal if you haven't. And be on the lookout for all the messages that are coming through from the principals to get everybody prepared and excited about this upcoming year. So make sure you're tapping into that. And if you are a parent and you're listening right now, if you're not getting notifications, then you need to contact school that your child's gonna be at, because you should be getting some.
They can actually update their information through Infinite Campus.
Yeah, so Infinite Campus, okay, y'all got alerts. But I got one. All right, let's see. Now we have the board commitments and priorities.
Yes. So we talked about this during our retreat, and the first 4 goals or priorities are very similar to what we've had in the past, with a little tweaking. As I said, it's more about maintaining, refining, monitoring. But we did add a 5th priority that had to do with clear and frequent communication with stakeholders, which was a recommendation that came from our participants during the board retreat. And I thought it was a really nice way of recognizing that commitment by myself, the team, the principals. And it gives us then some benchmarks to really to make sure that we are doing the things we say we're going to do. So I appreciate that input. And I think it makes a nice addition to our goals and priorities.
Yeah, I agree. I think we've had a lot of stuff happen over this past year. And the prompt communication, I think, meant a lot to, especially the community, to all of us.
It's validation that we get frequently. And I think this does a nice way of really highlighting it so that when we're referring back to priorities, we can really recognize that and hold that as like an ideal that we have. So yeah, like it. So they will be displayed up here with our priorities and goals, and then obviously sent out with families and or to principals, and then we have them posted on the website as well.
All right, thank you. All right, the next item is 7.04 GDVAR, support staff salary schedule regulation, and I have Mr. Cameron. I did that one.
Yeah, thank you. So later on tonight, you're gonna look at the second reading of the policy GDVA, which we brought to you in June. So this is the regulation that goes along with it. We really struck basically the whole prior regulation, because it was just a couple of bullet points, and this goes more in line with how we operate. The biggest thing here is looking at, we have two support staff groups, both the para and the custodians that have a CBA, but a lot of our other support groups do not, such as technology or secretary, so on and so forth. Just kind of talk about how that procedure works and what we do. So this really comes in line with the process that's in place when we're looking at salary or support schedule. So this ties into the policy that we're looking to approve in the second reading later this evening.
Awesome, thank you. The next item, 7.05 GDCR, support staff in the absence regulation.
Month or 50. Thanks tonight, I'm sorry.
I mean, y'all did a great job keeping track with the Rs and the ABCRs and FJRs.
The family and medical leave.
Yeah. Gene. What's the letters?
This one's GDC, that's R. Yeah, and, the first one, like Dr. D says family and medical leave.
There you go. Okay.
Which one is it?
Back.
This one here?
No,
No,
it says, family medical leave may be granted to support, staff employees under the following.
It's not, I don't know why it's not. It was listing them so I could find them earlier, and now
It's all right.
I have it here in front of me.
Oh, there, go across the top.
Just trying to, I got it, but I don't. It's see. See.
Can I just say good, 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 good?
Don't be overwhelmed.
No, it looks like mine.
Well, we have paper copies
Yeah, we have
and the electronic.
Yeah, we have it already in front of
And
us.
as long as we're clear about which one we're looking at, then anybody listening would be able to go and
This
see it as well.
is GDC dash R, correct? So once again, this ties into the policy that we're looking to, policy's already in place, it's the regulation that comes along with it. And this just once again, it kind of ties everything together. We had to, come back with both these support leave regulations and in conjunction to Delaware paid family leave that's going to take place on January 1 of 2026. So in order for our short-term disability, and our paid parental leave to be grandfathered in for the next 5 years, we had to make changes to policy. You made said changes in December. We got word from the Department of Labor in March that we were good. Then in May, we said, no, you're not good. So this is the answer to that. The biggest thing that had to change in here is that adoption, in order to qualify for paid parental leave, adoption used to have to be from the age of, from birth to 6. So with Delaware paid family leave coming in, that has now been lifted. You can adopt, at any age you adopt, you're entitled to 12 weeks of paid parental leave if you qualify for paid parental leave. Could be a little bit of a challenge. I asked the question, so you're telling me that the paid parental leave, the premise behind it is that you're at home to bond with the child. So if you adopt a 14-year-old who's at school, they're at school during the 12 weeks while you're at home off. And the Department of Labor just kind of shook their heads and tried to move me on from that. But in order to be grandfathered in, we have to make the change. Every district in the state is having to make this change, get grandfathered in. Otherwise, we're responsible for our own short-term disability and paid parental leave if we aren't grandfathered in. I wish I could answer and tell you what happens in 5 years in 2030, but I'm not worried about that right now. I'm worried about January 1st of 2026. So that goes in play for both 7.05 and 7.06. That's the changes that are being made to both of those. One obviously for support and one is for professional. And once again, this is in the regulation, it's just inform you of what we're doing.
Gotcha. Thank you. And then, so the next would be the 7.07 JQR, student needs.
Yes, and this was, we had talked in regards to this last time with the policy that's changing. And this kind of streamlines some stuff in what we do fee wise. The biggest thing being is we don't want somebody getting to their senior year and then owing for a book that they took out of the library in 3rd grade. So the regulation kind of says, look, we've got to get these things finished when we leave each of the K2, the 3, 5, and the middle school. And it also puts into play where it says you had to pay it before the first commencement practice. Well, we only usually have one. And we also have let kids take care of that up to about 3 or 4 o'clock the day of graduation so they could walk. So we were violating our own policy, what we felt was the best interest of the students at times. So we wanted to get the policy a little bit more in place and talk about where we kind of are and what we do. So that's the policy now, the regulation that ties in with it.
Okay, I think I remember Jeff telling us a story related to that. Congratulations.
Graduation.
Next one is 7.08 IJLR library materials. It's still funny today.
Yeah, it is.
All right, so this comes out of HB 119 passed as law. So we have to update our policy and regulations that go along with library materials selection and adoption. So basically, anything that is changed in here is in conjunction with what we have to do in regard to the new House bill that got passed. I don't think, can you correct me wrong, I don't think the policy needed anything changed to it. It was the regulation, if I'm not mistaken.
That's, yeah.
So we'll be looking to just, we're reviewing the policy,
Right.
later on we will vote to these the regulations that go in conjunction with it. And also there's 2 exhibits that go along with this that we are keeping in place because we need to have them per the policy. And there's nothing that we need to change to them either.
Okay, and,
So that should take care of 7.09.
8, 9, and 10, right?
Yes. 10 and 11.
Okay.
Okay, now I will turn it over to Mr. Zoll for 7.12, if you're okay with that as well.
Yeah, this is just a regulation that goes along with the student integration searches and regulation that we looked at last month.
I wish I knew what was going on. Here we go.
Y'all got your things, I know.
Yeah, right, New York, yeah, that's the policy.
That's a
policy. Here we are. There we go.
Good job, man.
Yeah, so no major, changes to it, I'll just provide some language to update, constables, putting them in there. Who didn't have them when this policy was originated, along with the school resource officer.
All right, so any questions on any of the ones that they went over us, updates and regulations? All right, so now we'll move on to our action items. The first one being 8.01, memorandum of understanding, Secret Support Staff Association, and that will be Mr. Cameron.
Yes, so this should come as no surprise to you, because in the 3 years that we've had this contract, we've had to come to you each year with an MOU for the contract. Because they keep raising the bus driver salary. So this is reflective of this. We share this information with SSA, well, I should say SEA, but as SSA is where the bus aid, the drivers come under. So number one, just ups the salary to according to where it has to be. And then later on, you're going to hopefully approve a salary schedule for the drivers and which corresponds to the MOU, making us in compliance with what the state number is now. And so we also, in conjunction with that, changed looked at the rate for field trips as well, since that was the minimum at 25, wasn't before it's go to 25-30, we made that the minimum for, that's the number for the field trips as well. We felt it just made sense to be in line there. And then so Friday through this evening, we'll get the signature from the union on, and then we'll get a copy of that to them and also on the website with all other contract information.
Sounds good. All right, any questions? All right, if I need a motion to approve the MOU.
Mark's trying to move to approve the MOU between the Secret Support Staff Association and the Secret Board of Education as presented.
Okay.
A motion and a second, all in favor, say aye. Opposed? And a motion carries. All right, next one, this family for all tonight. 2025 athletic ticket prices.
You'll see them as I look for them.
Well, we have them up. So
Yeah, there's no change from last year. It's just something that we have to approve each year. I know there's been a question in regards to middle school using the electronic, the same as the high school. We've continued to do cash at the middle school to keep the price, because every ticket we use, it charges us $1. So if we went for $1 for students and kept that, we'd be doing it for nothing.
Mhm.
So we're keeping that, and it works a little bit better. Mr. Cave and Mr. Evansville, it works a little better for students to get there, and they do some incentives. They have kids, they do some things for them to come there, which makes it a little bit easier. So we'd like to continue with doing it this way. And I said, no change. That's nice of that.
How many people have you gotten complaints in regards to the cash at middle school? Or excuse me, the electronic, not having electronic.
Haven't got any that.
Yeah, I was wondering,
Yeah.
because at high school, they go ballistic not having cash, not being able to do both.
Yeah, in cash. You know, like I said, we talked about the reason is trying to keep that price. And we had a discussion, we just do like, I believe it's Delmar, that's $5 everything, flat, that's $5 to get in any event. We talked about that just in general, and have some discussion. We felt we'd like to continue to do this for our students.
Mhm.
For high school events, not having cash is nice, you can work state give.
Yeah.
But
I
you're,
get it.
you're saying people wish they can use cash.
Yeah.
That's okay.
We just need, again, just like when we changed to it, we just need to keep communicating it beforehand that there is no cash. There is
Yeah, and I think that they've done a great job. I mean, I see the posts on Facebook saying, get your tickets, they're gonna sell it this time, you know.
But it helps that the other schools are going into.
Yeah,
So now it becomes a culture about low and low.
And I think we're not the only ones that do this with the high school accepting electronic and the middle school still doing cash.
right.
I do think some of the middle schools do have the option of electronic, but it's just simpler to be one or the other in regard. So as long as we don't seem to have an issue, we'd like to continue
Mhm.
this way. That's the recommendation, Mr. Evans.
Okay, and that would need a motion to approve.
Dare Savage, I move to approve athletic ticket sale prices as presented.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions or recusals? Okay, and that motion carries. Thank you, Ms. Kirby. We have you for the nutrition services meal prices.
There's only really three changes from last year. The adult price went up because our reimbursement goes up. It went up 17 cents this year, which was a little surprising. Good for us, a little bad for the adults. So they're at $5.02, which is an odd number, but that is the minimum we can charge them. And then for breakfast, it's $3.25. We also offer for the adults to pick a la carte items, which is a little more economical for them. And for the students, the only change we had was we decreased the price of ice cream. We had a two-tier system last year, and I felt it wasn't necessary. We were able to kind of manage the pricing within the guidelines of the USDA to just knock all the ice cream down to $1.
Man, that's sweet.
A lot cheaper than what I'm selling ice cream for.
Right.
These are keep track.
Just following.
Well, how much is ice cream for adults though? Fine, I'll buy you ice cream.
Sounds good.
Yes, yeah, the a la carte prices, any snack prices are the same for students and adults.
Nice. All right.
Question,
Mhm.
when does the red 40 situation kick in?
It's Red 40 for the state of Delaware.
Yes.
It's now, but it has to be fully implemented by July of 2026. And the ice cream company, there's a couple things, Doritos are legit. So the war on Doritos has ended, because that was gonna be our biggest obstacle was a la carte, ice cream, Doritos, some of the cereals. But the manufacturers are on board.
Okay.
Federally, the other dyes are kind of, we're going to have to be rid of them by 2027, January 2027. But as far as Delaware, we're gonna be good by the time it's fully implemented.
Yes, ma'am, thank you.
And the cool thing is because because those are rolling out nationwide, the manufacturers have to make those
Yeah,
changes.
yeah.
So it's not gonna, like, that's like, it's gonna, yeah.
Julie, when you say, like, students actually don't have to hand out money when they go into the cafeteria and buy stuff, do they?
They do.
Oh, they do.
There's a lot of choices. We have an electronic, they can pay online, but USDA says because we do have online payment and there's a fee attached to that, we have to offer cash acceptance and check acceptance. And the younger students, most of the parents do the electronic. Because if they send cash in with the younger ones, you never know where it's gonna go. It might go to Johnny, it might go to the library, or it might go to the book sale.
It's not, it's not much.
They bring cash, but we have three forms of payment.
Well, I asked that because I think I hear everybody gets free lunch.
Right,
So then when we say that, but then we also still have people that are still paying for lunch.
no, they're just paying for snacks, and if they want like an extra entree.
Very good. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Mhm.
All right, we just need a motion to approve, these changes.
I make a motion that we approve, nutrition service meal price.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second, all in favor, say aye. Opposed? Any attention or refusal? All right, and that motion carries, and Jeff will be there to get it all. He might even get paid for 5 points.
Great.
Miss Julie gonna take care of me.
He paying about.
Next we have, 8.04, school choice. And then we got the Benson.
I make a motion to deny school choice applications 2026 through 49, excuse me, 2026-49 through 2026-552, and to approve school choice applications 2026-53 and 2026-54 as presented.
Marcus Ryder, second.
All right, so there's a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions or recusals? And that motion carries. We do not have any field trip. Facility requests.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
When we deny the school choices and the kids, do they still have time to get back into the previous school, or is that not a concern, or, you know what I mean? When do they determine that they're gonna do this, like, I put
They
in
don't
work?
leave until it's approved.
Right, okay,
So they are still currently enrolled in their current.
there's no changes in the finance. you
Yeah,
know,
there's
like,
no change unless and until the school choice is made.
All right, good question. Next item is the facility request. We have the one, it's Pristine Entertainment from Pristine 360 LLC. I think this is McKinney Joseph, and the rental date will be November 15th, 2025. They'll start at 6 p.m. They will set up at 11 a.m. and they will clean it up at time is scheduled for 10 p.m. They're looking to use the auditorium with an anticipation of 250 people. Description of the event is Bridging the Gap concert. So we need a motion for it.
I make a motion to approve 8.06 facilities, but
Jeff Benson, second.
All right, so we have a motion for second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that motion carries. The next item on our agenda is 8.07 JLCC, Municipal Infectious Disease Policy. Is there anything we can see about this?
So this policy, has not been updated since I think 1987. The only thing it talked about in 1987 was HIV and AIDS. So our nurses have totally rewritten this, deleted the policy and updated it with just really kind of all the communicable diseases that we deal with in schools today and kind of how we deal with them and how we help with the parents that have it. Totally rewritten, because it hadn't been changed from that.
They went from one
You
page.
already looked at this 5 years ago?
Yes.
No.
So we appreciate the nurses for updating it because we truly have a more than that going on. All right, so we can get a motion to approve the first reading of this.
Marcus Ryder, move to approve the first reading of JLCC Communicable Infection and Disease Policy as presented.
There's a second. There a motion and a second, all in favor, say aye. Opposed? Okay, that motion carries. Next, we have the JIIA, People School District Title 9 Policy, and this is the first reading.
I've been in the shop for 3 years and I think I've followed the policy.
Every month.
They keep changing.
I think so. This is another one, so the state, there was a law that they passed this year, updating it, obviously with the federal administration. Took away the old Title IX and stuff, so a couple things we had to add to this, one was a form that people could use online, so that's linked in there. Also linking it to the a page on the federal government website, that they have to have other facts. But basically, it's kind of small changes, but that we had to do based on Delaware law that was just passed in.
Okay, awesome, thank you. All right, so now we need, even though we've read this many times, we need a motion to approve the first reading with the adjustments.
There's a document to approve the first reading with adjustments for Title IX policy as presented.
Jeff Benson, second.
All right, we have a motion and a second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that motion carried. Next, we have 8.09 JIH, student interrogation, searches and arrest policies. This will be the second reading. And we just need a motion to approve as long as there's been no changes, correct, Mr. Gold?
Right, no changes.
Jeff Benson, I make a motion to approve the second reading of JIH student interrogations, searches, and arrest policy as presented.
Marcus Ryder, second.
All right, so we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. The next item on our agenda is 8 10, JLD, council policy, this is the second reading. There's been no changes for principal.
Correct.
All right, so we just need to approve.
Sarah Savage, I move to approve the second reading of JLD counseling policy as presented.
Second.
All right, so we're motion in a second, all in favor, say aye. Opposed? And that motion carries. Next item, 8.11, GDBA, support staff salary schedule policy. This will be a second reading, and there's been no changes for Mr. Cameron.
Yes, ma'am.
I would need a motion to approve the second reading.
Marcus Ryder move to approve the second reading of the GDVA support staff policy schedules as presented.
Jeff Benson, second.
All right, so we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? And that motion carries. Next item is 8.12, JP student fees, fines, and separate policy. This too is the second reading of this policy. There have been no changes, correct, Mr. Cameron?
Correct.
All right, so I need a motion to approve.
Sarah Savage, I move to approve the second reading of JQ student fees, fines, and charges as presented.
Marcus Ryder.
All right, so a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? And that motion carries. The next one is 8.13, DCGC. Recreational facility latest policy, this is the second reading. There has not been any changes, correct, Mr. Cameron?
Well, we're actually deleting this policy, so this is the second reading of the deletion of the policy. At which time, when you delete this, we will also be getting rid of the regulation exhibit to go along with it. This is all covered through the work system that we now have, and there is no need for the policy moving forward.
So that would be your ECBCR and ECBC.
Yes, they will be, when you eliminate this, you eliminate it all.
Okay.
All right, so I need a motion to approve.
Marcus Ryder move to approve the second reading of the deletion of ECBC recreational facility maintenance policy as presented.
Sarah Savage, I second.
All right, so a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? And that motion carries. Next item on our agenda is 8.14, SEA_. This is a change order request. And we got Mr. Henry on.
I'm bringing a change. Bad.
And you don't have the most ones on the agenda.
I know, right? Even with the assessments, I don't have them. So, basically, it's a change order, so I tell people it's like peeling an onion back, kind of what we're doing out front here. The more we peel away, the more we find. So that's what this change order is all about. We wondered why the capstone at the middle school, the ADA entrance was cracking and doing the things it was doing. Well, this kind of addresses it, so it's, making the expansion joints larger to give it more room to expand and contract, because with age, it starts to shrink up and do all those crazy things. So that's kind of what we have here on the first change order. And by the way, the change orders are coming out of the enhanced minor cap, where both the projects were funded from, the middle school renovations on that ADA ramps out there, and this one also.
So this is similar like what's been happening to like the roads and highways and things like that as well, right?
Correct, yeah.
With all the heat and everything.
Yeah.
All right. And so 8.14 and then 8.15.
So that's change order 2. And it's kind of the same thing. It's on the ramp down by the Kale Handy wing. And that's basically the same thing there. It's contraction and expansion issues, stuff like that. We are going to put a coating, epoxy coating on that ramp and try it. We've never tried one before. So we're going to try it. Worst case scenario, we got to tear it back out and redo it, but I don't think we're going to have to. They really improved the epoxy. My only worry is the skid proofing, like, where you would. But they have got some bricks out there and stuff like that that are put down now that they seem to be holding. It's funny, because I'm getting calls from guys that do what I do in the state, about 4 now, since that project's been put out, and everyone want to know how we're making out with it. That's what's not there yet. I'll let you know once it's there, and I'll let you know when we get to a winter. How about that? So, but it's an economical way of addressing some of their concerns with their ADA ramps and stuff like that, if it works out.
So we'll need a motion to approve the 8.14, the first change order request.
I'll make a motion, we approve 8.14 change order request.
Sarah Savage, I second.
All right, so the motion is, we have a second, all in favor, say aye. Opposed? And that motion carries. And then we need a motion to approve 8.15, the FBA, the middle school, change order request number 2.
There's a gentleman to approve the change order number 2 in the middle school project as presented.
Second, second.
All right, motion, I have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that motion carries. Next, we have 8.16 Central Elementary School Board Assessment Report, and that too is Mr. Henry.
So I'm gonna kind of bring everything together in an overview of the building assessments, just because I feel like I bring it to you every 6 months, which I do now because of the other facility assessment that I bring you in the winter, which is the one that's done internally. This one's done by architects and engineers, kind of combines the two together, which I think gives, anybody that's looking at the assessments a good overview of what's going on inside our buildings. They kind of coincide with each other. So, but the brief overview that I want to give you, we submitted CNs for the last 6 years. We've gotten one through, for central for our partial road replacement. And then, so the district remains committed to operating safe, secure, and efficient facility for all students, staff, and community members. In pursuit of this goal, we have implemented a number of preventive corrective maintenance actions to ensure the longevity and functionality of our buildings. Some of the preventive maintenance corrective actions that have been implemented are regular HVAC inspections and filter replacements, scheduled boiler and heating system maintenance, routine safety checks and fire suppression and alarm systems, lighting system upgrades, energy efficient LED fixtures, roof inspections, and minor repairs to prevent water infiltration or roof repointing. Some of that stuff we've done to investor. Preventive maintenance on plumbing and electrical systems, custodial training on facility cleanliness and sanitation protocols and updating those. Ongoing monitoring of our automated systems for energy efficiency, which is our Medicine systems, which I'll talk to you about. Repairs to doors, windows, entry systems, and safety. And weatherization, so basically keeping the water out of our buildings, right? We gotta keep water out, water gets inside, no good for buildings. Groundkeeping and maintaining a safe, accessible outdoor areas, their playgrounds, et cetera. I do want to take a moment and acknowledge our maintenance staff, which I always try to do when I'm here. We are fortunate to have highly skilled team of maintenance technicians whose talents and dedication to help the district save considerable costs. Their ability to address issues in-house has played a vital role on sustaining operations despite limited resources. I think that goes a long ways. And if we're responsible for the money that we're getting, the way I feel. Commitment to physical responsibility. I think the district continues to be physically responsible by strategically utilizing the funds allocated to us, which I think we did through ESSER and multiple other things. Every dollar spent is carefully considered and maximized its impact on building operations and student safety. Patches, Cam and I meet once a week to kind of go through those things and make sure we're all on the same page, and then it's all communicated with Dr. D, which means the final call. Challenges and then the need for additional funding. Despite our team's efforts and prudent financial practices, we continue to fall behind on a critical maintenance of facilities repairs due to insufficient funding. This backlog is prompted by the submission of our fiscal year 26 certificate of necessity applications, which are essential to securing the resources needed to address facilities deficiencies and ensure that our schools remain safe, functional, and conducive to learning. I think that's huge, right? It just shows as much as we've done, the millions and millions of dollars of stuff that we've done with ESSER and all the other funding that we had, our buildings continue to fall behind by our assessment reports. Just because of the age of them. I mean, we're looking at, this down really quickly, and we talk about it, and I know, a lot, but we got a building that's 103 years old.
Already know I'm gonna say it for the record.
And that's our oldest building. The next one is 97 years old, which is our middle school. And then our newest building is 23 years old, you know, so with all that being said, as I walk through our buildings, like new staff come, so this last week, I was walking through our building, and I had like 2 or 3 staff stop me, like, these buildings are amazing for the age of them.
They are.
And the lady was standing in front of Douglas, and she said, I can't begin to tell you how amazed I am with this thing, this building is 103 years old. And I said, well, I think everybody before me has done their due diligence on keeping the buildings where they are, and I think we've done a nice job. as this group, keeping them maintained and all that. But like I said, at the end of the day, I can sit down at my desk and still see the obstacles ahead of us. And then HVAC is a big concern right now, where some of our humidification and stuff is starting to outdate itself. And we're looking at replacing those. We had the maintenance guys go through our facilities over the summer. They were able to get 3 buildings done, but basically pulling the unit ventilators right off the wall. And going through, watching all the coils, cleaning all the pans, doing all that stuff. So our goal is over the school year to continue to do some at nights with some of our night maintenance guys, and then next summer go after them again. So just some of the things that we try to do to keep up with the workload. Any questions?
Leave it till the end, do them all on.
Can I just add one thing? Yeah. So we also this year and last year have submitted for our burial removal, which is basically the ADA fixes. Even though we have 100-year-old buildings and with all the projects in place to actually fix some of the ADA requirements, we continue to get passed over as first come, first served basis for the additional funds that help fix the problems that's fixed. So although we continue to ask for it, we do continue to get passed over for those funds. And y'all just need to be aware of that. We've asked the department to look at the way they assign those funds because we have a match set aside should we ever receive it so that we can actually do even more. But I think the piece that I want to say is not only does the maintenance staff do a really good job, but because we had to spend more on maintaining older buildings, it actually takes away from some of the other areas. And so to see what construction is doing, that money that could be spent on instruction being, like, because we have to use local to do stuff, like, you kind of see that balancing act of all these budgets. So I think I think we've got a good formula that's working here for us, but it's also means we're continuing to put money into it.
So the board understands, can you elaborate on the first come, first served part?
First come, first served for our burial removal is that on July 1st, they send out an email. The first person that replies back to that email gets the money. Not need, not H codes, all in whoever is replied.
And
Is that,
Mr. Henry, you did say, but I wanted to make sure that everybody heard you. The last time we were approved for some repairs at Central, they approved a portion of the roof. Thank you.
the first come, first served rule, is that code, or is that just how the department does things?
Practice.
That's backwards, because they already know the stuff that we have in place. Like, we already have stuff into them, right? Yeah.
Feels like we get punished for being good stewards of what we have, and it just doesn't feel
And
right.
if they continue to prioritize growth and.
We're not growing, so they will not.
Right, so they'll- And as superintendents, the Superintendent's Association, one of the priorities this year is asking DOE secretary to come up with some kind of pattern or some kind of formula where you have growth, a column of growth and a column based on age, and then you prioritize instead of the top 3 for growth, it's the top 1 for growth and 2 for repairs. So we are working on trying to communicate a change in how that is figured out.
So putting a big number on top of the page saying we're 105 years old, what the hell?
It doesn't matter.
Nah, I know what you mean.
Building up the
It
collapse.
frustrates me this frustrates me so much every
I know.
time, because it's because we're not, we can't control that. We can't control that more students are not coming into the district, which generates new buildings. We can't control that.
Yeah.
And like you said,
At the
so
same
they're
time,
doing, they're keeping these buildings together.
at the same time, new buildings generate students.
Mhm.
I mean, how
Your
good is
stuff
that?
is central.
With all the bells and whistles that are all out there, you know, even though, like I said, they're internally inside our buildings, we got great staff, we got all the other things. But new flashy, you know,
Bells and
buildings.
It matters.
Yeah, so some point, even though the district may be equal that the students have a building, we are back to it being inequitable.
Yes, absolutely.
It is what it is, it's inequitable. And I think that our governor, who is an educator himself, you know, understands that students need good climate, you know, nutrition and all these things for students to learn. I mean, teachers, they do their, you know, their rock star stuff. But a child that is hungry or a child that's cold because they don't have heat, that child is not gonna learn.
Right.
No matter what the teacher, you know, does.
And it feeds into this whole conversation about reassessment and referendum reform and the Public Education Funding Committee about how a less wealthy district just doesn't have the access to the resources, and it perpetuates that cycle of less access to the bright shiny building, regardless of the top-notch instruction that's happening within those buildings. So it's all so working together.
All on the same bottom. And plus, you know, keeping track of attendance and, you know, who's the students that are in the building and all that stuff. I mean, if we, whether for you guys and everybody doing their due diligence and, you know, to make, as we're gonna say, something out of nothing, you know, it wouldn't work.
Right.
So that's you guys doing that, not DOE, not our government. Yeah, not our government.
But our kids deserve more.
Of course, I agree. So it's inequitable. I'm gonna keep saying it, inequitable. That's a term they haven't heard in a while. All right. Oh, where were we, let's see, I know Darren wanted to just go through.
No, I mean, yeah, I just want to hit all the years at one time at the end, so.
Okay, I'll see.
Out of curiosity. Besides ours, what's the oldest high school in the county? Delmar? The next oldest?
Delmar had
They
redid.
Yeah, next one was surprised in the county.
Yeah.
Like,
Which isn't old.
Milford, but
Yeah.
But Milford's totally benefiting.
no,
no.
and it doesn't matter how much we complain or how much we say, it doesn't matter. That's that's the frustrating part. It doesn't matter how you advocate. We can't get anything.
Are you gonna go through each of, you did an overview, are we ready to,
We can just go through them and it's the same submission that we've done, you know.
Yeah.
A few things here and there, but
Yeah.
generally the same.
We can go through and approve them. So the first one being 8.16, you need to look into approving the central elementary building assessment.
Mark Strata move to approve the Central Elementary School Building Assessment Report as presented.
Yeah, say it.
All right, we have a motion and a second, all in favor, say aye. Opposed? And that motion carries. We also get a motion to approve the West Seaford Elementary School building assessment.
Jeff Benson, I make a motion to approve the West Seaford Elementary School Building Assessment Report as presented.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second, all in favor, say aye. Opposed? Okay, that motion carries. 8.18, elementary school building assessment, we need a motion to approve that.
Jeff Benson, I make a motion to approve Blades Elementary School Building Assessment Report as presented.
Mark Strata second.
All right, we have a motion and a second, all in favor, say aye. Opposed? That motion carries. 8.19, Frederick Douglass, our 103-year-old building. School building assessment report, we need a motion to approve.
Mark Strata move to approve the Frederick Douglass Elementary School Building Assessment Report as presented.
Darren said it, just a second.
All right, we have a motion and a second, all in favor, say aye. Opposed? And that motion carries. We have our 8.20, middle school building assessment report, and we would need a motion to approve it.
Make a motion to approve the middle school. Right, building assessment report.
Mark Strata second.
Okay, so we have a motion in 2 seconds. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that motion carries. And the next one is 8.21, Seaford High School, built in 1960.
64, I got you, I'm ready.
Or is it the 66?
64.
64.
All right, there's assessment report as presented, so we need a motion to approve.
Jeff Benson, I make a motion to approve the Seaford High School Building Assessment Report as presented.
Mark Strata second.
All right, so we have a motion. We have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that motion carries.
For the record, point of order,
Yes,
for
Dr.
the
Savage.
record. So that everyone hears me clearly, the years that these buildings were built in order. Seaver High School, 1964. Central Elementary, 1959. Blades Elementary, 1954. West Seaford Elementary, 1953. The middle school, 1928, and Frederick Douglass, 1922. Kudos to buildings and grounds, because these buildings are crumbling. But you're holding them together.
Mr. Henry, if we were to be able to, say, get a new school or whatever, do we have a plan for what we would do with the existing building?
We have, yeah, we have a plan A, B, and C.
Mhm.
Just depending on where we're at and what we can find as far as available land or anything like that. So we have some plans that we've currently discussed, as to how we would move forward if we were to ask for a new school.
Mhm. Okay.
And then we talked to Gigi about the historical society for these buildings. Oh, excellent.
Yes.
I'm on board.
Don't sound like you had a choice.
Like to put you in the historical society because of your age or
I'm
something.
in the waiting room right now.
Yeah.
To let me out for the meeting.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, y'all do a great job. You really do. Y'all make it. Keep us going. And keep us going great for our students and for our staff and faculty.
Thank you guys for your support.
Yeah, thank you. All right, next we have, Mr. Patches. With the first one being, fiscal year 2026, bus driver and bus aid salary schedule.
Yes, so, let me pull up. Bus aid and bus driver salary schedules had minor changes. If you remember last year, we were really trying to do minimum, at the lower level. So very minor changes, but because of that, we need to, have that, reapproved. Any questions on that?
No.
No.
Okay. Cafeteria would be. You want to do these all at once or?
Yeah, you go ahead and do your part. We just go through who we. Yeah.
Cafeteria, we did add a small amount for unit classes, a very small amount, but we did that both for the cafeteria worker and we did it as a stipend for the cafeteria managers. If you'd like a question, any questions on that, or what the unit actually is, or we can help you understand that.
Does anyone want to know what unit classes are?
Well,
Sure.
yeah. Yeah, what the 1201-1600.
They, we have, the state of Delaware, they support and promote continuing education for all nutrition service staff in the state of Delaware. And so they offer unit classes at, Del Tech. And they do it different times of the year and then in the summer. And we were always on the low end because we don't pay anyone to go to the classes, but we pay them when they go and they pass. 2 classes, they get now 50 cents is what the proposal. And then when they do all 4, they'll get $1 increase. We've always, when I got hired, it was 10 cents for 2 classes. It's a lot of education. It's a lot of time. It's 30 hours of class of education. And so it was, other districts have kind of been increasing things throughout the couple past years. And I think it would just be nice. And the unit classes give you a very great overview of what we do. Because we are so regulated and people ask, like they see, they know you work in the cafeteria. They ask you all a lot of questions. Why is there bean salad on the menu? Why do we have to do all wheat? Every time they hear about red dye, anyone that they know in the cafeteria, they'll get asked that question. And so it's nice to have people out there that are informed. We do our part in, communicating to everyone so they can answer questions. if they are approached with anything. But it gives a good overview on food safety, our menus, customer service, which is a big deal. And just, they kind of put things in place that people want to become managers at some point in time. And so it's kind of, it's, we're one of the only states that do it, and the Department of Education has done a great job with the classes. And the managers, for some reason, I don't think I even realized this when I was a manager. They had to take the classes. When I went, we took six classes, but now they kind of condensed it into 4. And the managers never got compensated for these classes and getting this education. So this will be the first time that we will provide them with a stipend.
The only other salary schedule was the administrative salary schedule that you approved last time.
Yes, if we approve that. We have to approve it again?
Yes, and here's why, we made a small change to it. What we decided to happen is, if you remember, this is market-based study, so we based it off of other districts.
Right.
What we noticed after we did it is that if you actually look at how the regulation reads, see there's a market is middle way point. And so what we really, what we had done is what we had really had done in the past, where there was a smaller amount step for each step in excess of the midway point. So what we decided to do was to actually do a change to basically make the midway point the true middle, which means that anybody that was below the line was pretty much staying the same. Anybody that was above the line, and there was 4 employees that were on the administrative scale that were above the mid-market, they were, in essence, more negatively impacted by us not making the additional change. So what we decided to do is, what was happening is that anybody that had been with the district for a significant length of time, their loyalty and their being here for longer and their experience was not as valued in the way our structure was. So we decided, and there was only 4 people that fell into that category, so the overall impact is not that great. But the ability to recognize, specifically if we go out to hire someone long-term in the future, that if we need to look for experience, and where we place them, this greatly impacts not only the ones we have and honors them, but it also makes us more marketable to get paid for experience as we go forward. So that was the change. So it's really only anything over the market that has changed.
Okay.
And it has gone up, but it basically goes up in a shorter period of time, because we still never exceed this step 14, which is basically where people stop. You cannot go past that step in the way our structure is set up. So if you're at step 14, you won't move even if you stay here another 5 years unless we redo the market-based system. So that's why I just wanted to make that clarification and modification and present it to you.
Are those 4 still being held harmless, or is that irrelevant now?
That would be irrelevant now, I think, for everyone on that. There was sort of the change they actually ended up going out, which is part of why we decided to fix. We found that people were held harmless than should have, and or should actually move in this month. So
Got it. Thank you.
Any other questions? No. All right, so let us go ahead and approve those and move on to the financial stuff. All right, so you need to approve the fiscal year 2026 bus driver and bus aide salary schedule.
Yes, I moved to approve that bus driver and bus aide salary schedule from September 26.
Second.
I have a motion and second, all in favor say aye. Opposed? And that motion carries. Next, we have 8.23 fiscal year 2026 cafeteria worker salary schedule. And we need a motion to approve.
Mark Snyder, move to approve the FY 26 cafeteria worker salary schedule as presented.
Second.
I have a motion and second, all in favor say aye. Opposed? And that motion carries. Next item, 8.24 fiscal year 2026 cafeteria manager salary schedule. Need a motion to approve.
I make a motion to approve 8.4 2006 cafeteria manager salary schedule.
Second.
I have a motion and second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that motion carries. Next item, 8.25 is the year 2026 salary schedule, and I just.
Jeff Benson, I make a motion to approve FY 2026 administrative salary schedule as presented.
Mark Service, second.
A resolution is second, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? And that motion carries. That will bring us up to the financial reports. Mr.
All right. So for operating unit expenses, as of month end, we were, only, of course, was realized that it was July. The first month, and we are at 8.5% of the fiscal year with a total of 6.92 expended and with encumbrances sitting around 10. Not at all a big issue. Please, note though, one of the things that, is highlighted in yellow is that student services, we want to increase their funds. We went back and forth on some ideas with, PBS funds. And so we decided that we would like to put, money, definitely inside the student services for this year. And then we'll reassess for next year whether or not it's given out to the village. So we'd like to increase the preliminary budget for student service to 35. And then transportation was lower. We had a lot of savings last year because of our homeless transportation changes that we did with our buses. So we actually initially scaled back that transportation budget. But what we'd like to do is request that we keep it at last year's just for planning purposes for this year, because that is realistically was a pilot and we really don't know. And so what we really would like to do with other changes we're trying to make is make sure that we keep that at last year's level, which was the 370. So we would like to request moving that back. We'd also like to, ask your approval to remove the two gray areas that you see up there, middle school vocational funds and high school vocational funds. In the past, these were put there because they are funded either by state or federal line items. Well, if you look at this, everything else here is local. So what we found is, we would like to take that out because it is considered revenue in another report. And we'd like to initially take that out. They'll still get those vocational funds, but we won't necessarily report those because what this truly is building level funds. So when you start doing that, it starts to look like the numbers and the ratios are all per student because the vocational funds are in addition to what we've already given to the individual buildings, if that makes sense. So again, this is one of those changes in making it, and this is what I'm finding out when I talk to you all about an all funds budget in the past. Well, it's things like this and these things that we're finding, the changes they were made, maybe prior or more transparency, but then we're finding we can't get to that all funds budget until we correct things like this, even at our discretionary side, and then we'll start building out those other areas that hopefully your operating unit expenses budget will then 100% be able to match what's in our revenue budget, which you'll see here in a few. So, any questions? So, I think other than that, overall startup was slower than normal, as y'all were aware of, because both on the tax side, the questions, as well as the federal funds, which although were approved, we're still slower getting to that. So just, want to kind of highlight that. Startup for taxes, is, as normal. We got, quite a bit of delinquent years and we've got a current year. We will see again, an increase up to the 10.6 this year, but, overall it looks normal. We'll get our big chunk in a few months because, when tax bills come due. There are plans from the county, to do a payment plan. I forwarded some information out to the administration here at least on what that means. But as of right now, it doesn't look like we'll be that far behind or too negatively impacted by any of the discussions that have gone on as of yet.
The two pieces of legislation that impacted Sussex County were the one about the penalties and then anybody with an increase of more than $300 can set up a payment plan with the county.
Set asides. Set asides are still holding constant at 2.95 million. We are, and I'm asking for this y'all approve this, but next month, I wanna make sure y'all, y'all are aware of this. You will see borrowing approximately $140,000 out of the building and grounds set aside. That is to fix the HP issues that we have at the high school, to make sure that is ready for the start of the school year. What we'll do is, because of the way the MCI process works and some of these others, we're not like we use with technology and then are replenishing. We need that to actually borrow, and it's just a cash flow game that we're having to play really. Is we're gonna take that money, borrow it to do what we need to do, and then we'll recode and give that money back. So it's just me, but I want y'all to be aware of that in transparency, so that when you see it next month, it is approved at the set aside fund for us to use, but I want y'all to be aware of it on the front end, and so you're, completely, just want to be completely transparent.
Yeah, Dr. Benson asked me what was the interest rate on this borrow.
Oh, I got. But
I gave it a straight face.
when I did the final budget last year, to see how much interest we actually brought in on the money that is sitting there, it's a substantial amount.
Good stuff.
Which is actually on the side of our financial position as well, so.
But this is what set aside funds are for.
That's
Right.
This is what they're for.
You
So
just
thank you for
lose the
saying
interest that you might have had
That's right.
still been there.
Yeah.
No, the joke is, if we're borrowing it ourselves, what's the interest that we're gonna pay ourselves back?
I believe I was questioned really quickly by Patches, are you borrowing or taking? He said, okay, that didn't borrow.
Any questions about this? All right, and then revenue, report, we already have roughly 44 of our 66 million. One thing I need to make you aware of, if you remember last year, we discussed, and this is completely on me. Charter of choice is actually, remember last year, we talked about, is it a loss in revenue or is it an expense? And we went back and forth, right? And we decided that it would be loss in revenue. Well, it is a loss in revenue, but what I need to highlight is that without a negative in there, it's not a loss in revenue. So this report has a negative in front of that, and I highlighted that for y'all so that you would know specifically which one. I also want to take out, because I don't think it's the first funding is no longer really a line item for us to track, so I was gonna take out the gray, and we're highlight will change in the yellow flow. And just, again, be transparent with you that is a loss in revenue instead of an increase in revenue, because it's only an increase if you, or a positive if you do it on the other. But any questions there? No?
No.
Do you wanna do that report, or do you want me to go through the other two?
I'll go through your financial, all your financial stuff, and then we'll just go through each one of them.
Financial position report, worked through this, sorry, I have to apologize for some of my breadcrumbs spread out on this, but not emotional. It's not a problem. So what I wanted to at least highlight is that last year's.
Where you want, because it goes on the second screen.
No, it's fine. Last year's number this time was 13.8 million. I think the big thing that you gotta do is look down at the bottom, go down to the next page. We're at 15.249. As long as that continues to trend up, we're not good. So there's where I'm gonna pause, and I wanna say, y'all put a lot of confidence in a new CFO of about a year and a half, year and 3/4 of a year. Because you put a lot of confidence in me. The fact that we're trending upwards is a good thing, but what I want to say is that this was the first year that I did from the start to the end. I learned a lot, there's some things we tried to change, still some things we want to change and modify. I want to continue to just be transparent with you and say, I think we're in a good financial situation, but we can't also get too excited about that number because there's so many things like Mr. Henry has presented. If we ever do get approved for a CM, we're gonna be in a situation where there's the local match piece, there's all these things that go on.
Federal funds.
Federal pieces, like all this, the increase in just inflation alone. So although we're aggressively going up, it's positive that at some point, as you'll see, in most all districts, that trend is gonna be that we start going into that negative. It doesn't mean anybody's not doing their job, it just means that revenues are not as rising as fast as expenses are, and they start to, get out of line, and that's part of that referendum reform and some of the other things. Even our building CN process reform that needs to happen, our reform on our burial removal that needs to happen, like all these things factor into that. So I think we're in a good financial spot, even better than we were last year. But at the same time, I want to say thank you for the confidence you put into me and my staff and, the team of being the new guy. But I also want to say we continue to want to make other changes, and it's a balancing act. I've shared this before, but at times it's tough being and Cam and I are sometimes known as the no guys, and we're not, it's tough being the person. It's not really, no, it's maybe not right now, or we need to reassess this, and that's why we just want to make sure that people are aware that, we're trying to do the best of what we have. And that's part of it, but we're positively doing better, so I just wanted you to know the difference between last year's report and this year, and ask you if you had, questions.
I just want to say thank you for saying yes to our t-shirts.
There was a lot of negotiation there. We also shared at the administrative retreat with our principals, that we will continue to be very careful fiscally because, it's easy to be excited to be like, oh, we're in a great place financially, and then you loosen the purse strings and then you wreck it. For lack of a more scientific term. So we're just gonna continue to be really careful with it, just knowing this kind of turbulent time with federal monies and, we want to make sure that we are good stewards of these finances and are spending it carefully and on the right things. And I kind of told the principals, I was like, please know, if it's no, it's coming from me. It's not actually Patches, right? Like, but it's hard to separate that sometimes.
Yeah. We did leave because of that, I just want to highlight, we did leave, the building budgets at the 75% still, because when we started even getting this paperwork together, we weren't really sure what was going to happen on our local taxes, and our local taxes are exactly what feeds the local building budget. So we have left that for the time being, just until we can let all this dust settle and kind of figure out what goes, how we go forward. So just didn't want to highlight that piece. Any other questions on financial position?
No.
All right, last but not least, let's see here. Operating unit commitment. All right. We did come in, under budget. What I kind of want to highlight is some key areas. I believe in kind of some areas that I want to make sure we kind of overestimate, and I say that, positively overestimate like local salaries. We had 856,000 remaining in our budget. One of the things, again, in first year is making sure with payouts and all the other things, supplemental pay, extra, some of the extra time programming, all the things that go on. We just wanted to kind of make sure that we put a little extra into there just to make sure we had it up. Luckily, we didn't need it. So that's 856,000 of the 1.1. But we can't not highlight all the other areas that were under budget. And what I will tell you is that with encumbrances, when you see the one, and I don't want to pick on Fred Douglas, but although it looks like they were over budget at the end, they're not. This was an as of report. And as I mentioned in the past, this was as of a certain date. When we unencumbered the money, it zeroed back out over here, because we knew that they couldn't then spend some of the things that had encumbered in the past. And one of the things I think I had explained at the board retreat is that instead of doing large open POs like we did in the past, this year we went with smaller POs, and instead of doing like an $8,500 staples PO, we'll do a $2,000 Staples PO, and then they'll do their stuff out of that. That way we don't run into as many of these issues where we look like we're over budget and we're really not because of encumbrances. So although they were approved to suspend it, we said, you know what, and so most everyone now at this point, where it kind of went through that, we gave them a little extra time to unencumber and or close POs from last year, with the exception of some key areas. Buildings and grounds is one of those areas where, and some of our 15-month appropriations, like our transportation, our federal funds. So we still have some particular places where we continued. But what I did want to at least let you know that to close out FY 2025, I think you can see how we were under budget. We came in with a positive year end. And we also were able to then from that, take that, and where does it go? It goes into that financial position report, which means that we are still in a positive level. Local salaries though, will again go up this year, and that's one of those areas where we continue to have to modify that and kind of balance it out a little bit. So, let me see if I highlighted anything else that I wanted to tell you. No, I think that's it. I mean, there's not any other questions. I'll go to the next page. Taxes, we ended up, with, I think it was, I have it calculated here for you. About 133,000 extra with delinquent collection, senior and veteran credit, and which basically took us above what we thought we were going to bring in for a tax revenue. So again, very positive. There's additional money that have come in over where we thought we would be. Without the delinquent years and the senior property taxes, they were veteran credit, the state gives, we would have been off by, by substantially. And this is what people, this is the true tax bill or what's coming in. This is the state kind of picking up some help. And this is, what should have been paid in the prior years. So realistically with the penalties and everything, it does help us. And so far we've got a system that works, but, also that's money that, we should have had prior. So just, want you to just be aware of it. So, any questions there with that? No. All right. Set asides. I think we discussed what was going to happen this year. What you'll see in that report earlier, which was the FY 26 set asides versus the final for 25. Remember, we used 257 out of the technology line item for the replacements, which means we replenished that, and I think everything is zeroed out except for at this point. I think as of today, it was $463 that still needs to be transferred over. So with your approval of all this tonight, what I'll do is I'll transfer the differences, and that $463 will get transferred as well, and we will be back to the 2.95629 number going forward, which I've asked you to approve already on the other report. Any questions on that? No. Nope. All right, revenue. Revenue was underestimated on the state side, so you do see what looks like a big anticipated receipts of $3 million addition. Really not. Again, it's a state fund. If we don't use them or if we get them, it's really only because it's a match to our salaries. So the formula salaries and OECs comes from that. Probably realistically, could have modified that number with you when we were started setting the final budget back in about the April timeframe. But again, my first time through, I kind of wanted to see how this kind of worked through the process, to see where we truly ended up. Because if you remember, up until the last minute, we were actually trending way under. And that last bump is what actually took us over. So with looking at historical trends from prior years, kind of knew that, we knew that was going to happen. That's how it happened every year. But I didn't want you to think that was $3 million additional. It's $3 million that was in the match to our local salary side as well. So if you just go through here, overall, I think one big area to highlight is the interest. It's $668,000. So again, look at that financial position report. We're paying through, we're under budget. And we have 668,000 in that. And the 200 and some that we were under budget and the 668, we're like 800 or 900,000 additional funds because of the interest and the being under budget than what we had thought. So I think those are key things. Other than that, I think we, if there's, I don't know if there's any other questions, make sure I've highlighted everything. I don't think that's it, unless you got any other questions or.
Any questions?
No, and this would be to close out FY 25 and I assume FY 26 one.
Awesome. Thank
We'll
you.
get rid of about 4 of your data, Stan.
Okay. Well, y'all got Cam, throwing some type of way about that.
That would include the end of it now.
So we have thanks to approve. So the first one being your 8.26 financial report. This is the action item and you're going to listen to approve.
Darren Savage, I move to approve 8.26 financial reports as presented. Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. Next item, 8.27 financial position report. And it's also the action item and you're looking to approve.
Mark Snyder moves to approve the financial position report as presented.
Second.
All right, a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. Next item, 8.28 fiscal year 2025 financial, final summary budget. This, is action item being approved.
Jeffrey, I make a motion to approve the FY 25 final budget as presented.
Mark Snyder, second.
There a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Hill. The next item is our long range agenda items. So just so you know, our teachers are coming back as Dr. D had already mentioned earlier on August 20th. So you'll see them there getting professional development on the 20th, 21st, 20th, and 22nd. Just know that sixth grade open house is on August 21st at 5 p.m. at the middle school. So if you're listening, parents, sixth grade open house is 5 p.m. at the middle school on August 21st. As Dr. D already mentioned, the district kickoff is at 8 a.m. on Friday at the high school. Then we have the little J preschools, meet and greet is 3:30 to 5:30 on 8/25 at the high school. And that also will be a day that's closed to students and the teachers will be getting professional development. Then please note, for the elementary schools, K2 meet and greet for Blaze Elementary and West Seaford is 4 to 6 p.m. On 8/25 as well. Our next elementary schools are the third grade through fifth grade meet and greet for Douglas and Central Elementary is from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. also on 8/25. So if you have kids in multiple schools, please plan accordingly because a lot will be happening on 8/25. On 8/26, the school will be closed for students, professional development. On 8/27, please make a note that only certain kids go back on 8/27. That is your pre-K, that is your kindergarten, that is your third graders, your sixth graders, and your ninth graders. They pretty much, if you are the youngest in the school, the first grade, you will go back on the 27th and you will have the school to yourself. Except for the ninth grade, you'll have be there with the pre-K, but that all separate areas, okay, separate areas. And then on 8/28, that will be the first day of school for all other students. So on 8/28, all the grades should be at school that day. So please make note that if you have kids that are in kindergarten, pre-K, third, sixth, ninth, but also other grades, they may be starting back on different days. All right, then of course we have the holiday on 9/1, the schools will be closed, please don't have your kids waiting for the bus. September 8th through 14th is National Arts and Education Week. We love the arts and we need an open house for the high school. It's 9/9 at 5 p.m. On September 10th, we have 7th and 8th grade open house at the middle school at 5:30. And then we'll be back here in our district office board room on 9/15 at 6 p.m. Did we get them all? All right, sounds like we did. All right. So next, we need a motion to come out of public session into a regular session for personnel matter, legal updates, and student matter.
Mark, sorry, I don't think to do the session.
Second.
Have a motion and second, to go into regular session. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? And that motion carries, and it's 7:30 p.m.
Go Ravens.